Hello, in this video, we're going to look at the school fees management section. So you shouldn't confuse the two. The school fees is different from the finance. Finance is one that caters for budget of the school, expenses of the school. So that's totally different. Okay, it's like how the money is being used and how the money is being planned for. That is finance, which is totally separate module. You can see it here. But first, today we're going to look at school fees. So this school fees module, it caters for school fees payment, school fees billing, etc. So this is a very important section, and I would like you to be very attentive and test everything out after doing the previous steps that I've been demonstrating to you. Alright, so in this section, I'm going to explain to you everything here. However, we're going to do only the most important at the moment. So you have students account, you have school fees payment, you have school pay transaction, we have fees billing, we have school fees demands, we have transactions, we have service subscription, you have batch service subscription, you have services, you have service categories, bursary schemes, bursary beneficiaries, and termly fees balancing. So let's begin with students accounts. So you see, every active student, they have their information account. The information account is the one that caters for the information of the student. Like if you come here to active students here, you'll find the information. So this one is managed by director of studies or anyone responsible for managing the information of the school. However, if you go to the bursar's office, you have to access another account of that particular student. So every student here in these active students, they have a corresponding financial account, and that is the account that is on the side of bursar, and it's only the bursar it's only the bursar who accesses that module. However, if you're director of studies, for you will be just managing the information of students. The new student has come, you admit a student. The new student has left, you update. The new student, etc., you just manage the information. However, anything about money, how we bill the student, has student paid, etc., generating the receipts, etc., those are to be done by the bursar, and those are under the school fees module. So if I come to school fees module, I find it here, and then we have different things that we can do in this school fees module. Among them, we have school fees account. So as I said, every student has a corresponding school fees account. So if you come to school fees account, let's look at different things that are here. We have a column with a photo of a student. So the bursar, once a director of studies admits a student, the bursar will be able to access a new student or that student on his side under school fees account, or students account under school fees section. He'll be able to see the account owner. So if I click on the account owner, this redirects me to the details of this account, right? The information of this student. That's the account owner. So I'll be able to see the status whether this student is still in school or he left school. So remember, this is being updated from the other side of the information management manager, or whether it's the director of studies or not. But the bursar will be able to see whether this student is still in school or left school. The bursar will be able to see the current class of this student, and they'll be able to see the balance of this student. And then we'll be able to verify a balance or not, and keep it on or keep it not verified. Whether the account has been verified or not, and the bursar will be verifying their respective account or not. So now, once this account is generated, the bursar can be able to manage the money of this student, right? So if I click here, the system can show me the details of this student. It will show me his photo, it will show me his basic information. The system will show me the summary of school fees payment of this student, and then to have tabs. If I click on classes, I'll be able to see the classes that this student has spent at our school. I click on services, I'll be able to see the services that this student has subscribed for in this term. I'll explain what is meant by services. If I click on transactions, I'll be able to see the transactions, all time transaction that this student has ever been billed or paid. And then I'll be able to see here the school fees that this student is supposed to pay, the service that the school fees and service that's supposed to pay, the school fees balance for this term, the total payable amount, the total amount paid, and then the school fees balance, the actual school fees balance I'll be seeing it there. Now, let's say that all right, so that's basically the account of the student. Then there are some actions so that you can do. I want to see the accounts of maybe students in a specific class. I can filter here. I want to see the account of a specific student. I can filter here. I want to see the student whose balance is greater than this amount. I can put the amount here, and then I can be able to say less than this amount. For example, I want to see the student who have less than maybe minus 10,000. I can just simply put that condition and then say search. So the system will show me the student who has less than the balance less than that. So the student who have too much money compared to negative 10,000. So if I want to see the student who have balance beyond 500,000, just put here less than 5, 1, 2, 3. So I put a negative, so it can be going the other side of negative, and I'll be able to see those students who have less than that amount. I can say greater than, so it will bring, if I say less than, it will bring those which are in deep negative, right? So to show those which are having less negative amount than that one. So there is no one. And if I say, for example, negative 400, to bring those ones that have balance less than 400 negative. I can be able to sort here in descending or ascending order. I can be able to sort here. I can be able to export this data in an Excel format. I can be able to, for example, say less than, I don't know why less than is not, okay, it has worked, okay. So I can see this is less than negative 400. All right, so you can play with less than, greater than sign here. You can play, for example, I want to see the student who have equal to negative 400. I can be able to search here, and I'll be able to do what? To see them. So if I put maybe 500, I'll be able to do what? To see them accordingly. Now, I can be able to see those students accordingly. So we have here ability to play with these filters, and you can export as I discussed. You can select the column that you want to export. For example, I want to export the student name and their balance. I can as well do that by just simply saying student owner and then the account balance. Okay, and then I say search. So the system will only show me those columns. Anyway, I've already explained that one. So here you can be able to see how much student or school and how much like you can be able to see in the same page like the amount that student or school with the rest, as well as filtering, sorting, all those, searching, etc. with the use of this filter. Now let's say that it's a new school. Now the action that I need you to do next is to set the school fees balance of students. All right, so we are new school. We are starting using the system right now. So the system has to begin somewhere. For example, you should be knowing at least the balances of each student. So to set that, we can update the student by setting their respective balance. For example, so the system can start from there. For example, let's say that this student is owing the school 1 million. So to do that, or I can say to do that, I'll simply come and update. All right, so I click here and then say update, edit. Okay, and then this will be locked. All right, I can go ahead and say change school fees balance, and then I put the amount. Remember to put negative if the student owes school. If the student owes school, if we are demanding school fees from a student, you have to put it negative. If the school, if it's the school that, if the student that owes the school, let's say that the student, we have the money for the student, let's say like maybe 10,000 or 50,000, whoever, that is very rare. You leave it as it is here. But if it is the student who has our money, right? So you have to put a negative, and that is the normal case, the normal scenario. So I can put here, for example, thank you so much. I can put here, for example, negative 100,000. So it means that this student owes the school 100,000, right? Now, if I'm sure of this and I want to confirm it, I'll have to mark this this account as verified. However, if I am not sure of this, I can just leave it as it is there. So I can go ahead and submit, and I'll have to mark this account as verified. But if I'm not sure that this money, this balance is not okay, most especially when the term is beginning, you may first make all the accounts to be not verified. So you can be able to mark the accounts that you're sure that you've sorted and those that you've not sorted. So in this scenario, let me mark this one as verified. So I'll be able to know that this account was approved, or I approved it. So I can go ahead and submit. The system will process and then set the student's balance to be this amount that I've set. However, you're supposed to do this only when you start using the system, or maybe when things have totally failed to balance and you want to force the system to display specific balance, then you'll do that. So you go ahead and do that for the rest of the systems, for the rest of students. So the system can start from there to take students recordings. However, you have told this system that this student owes the school that amount of money. So there is something that has happened in background to create that particular view that we are seeing here. The system has created a trail of showing that how we came up this money, or how we came up with this balance, because everything that happens with the student account, it have to be recorded somewhere, so you can be able to know it came from this or it came from that to reach here. So the system has it has a section of transactions. So school fees transactions, it gives us ability to manage to manage or to account for everything. So everything that you do on the student account, it will either be a transaction that is generated by the system. For example, here a transaction has been generated by the system to account for this money, or it will be you recording that transaction. So a transaction will be a record that will be adding a negative or a positive on the student's account. So for example, if I click here on the student's record on the student's account, I can be able to see that a transaction has been created. You see here, there is transactions for this term. So in this first page shows the transaction of this term only. So you can see on this particular date, this amount of money was credited to this account to me, and the reason was to meet the correct balance. So you see, we forced this account to have this particular balance. Why? Because we wanted it to meet that particular balance. So a record had to be created in background, and then we can be able to see that on this particular day, this amount of money came to this balance because this happened, right? And this is what has happened actually. We forced the account to display this money, but the system went ahead and created a transaction. So if you want to see the transaction that have ever happened to this student's account, you just simply click here. So this one will be showing, this first page will be showing for the it will be showing for this student, for this term only. But if you want to see all, I just simply click on transactions, then it will go ahead and show all the transactions that have ever happened to this student's account. So if I click back here, I'll be able to see this transaction. So it means that everything that happens on a student's account, we can be able to account it through something called transaction, whether positive or negative, whether it came from mobile application or we forced it like this, it have to be accounted for. So that is how that's what transaction mean. Now we are able to see that the student and this is the balance. Now we are not going to be doing, we can see that this account has been verified, so it means that we are confident that this account is reflecting the correct value that we expect it to. Now we are not going to be doing that every time we want to change the student's balance. We're not going to be coming to the account and set it to be that part. We do this only when we are starting to use the system. That's when we do this. We force the system to show that amount so that the next records can always work with this amount that we started with. and we showed you that it has created a trail that showed how that money came to there. So now let's go to the transactions tab. So the transaction tabs, it will be showing all the transactions that are happening, how students are being billed, etc. So you have transaction tab. So this transaction tab will be showing all the transactions that are going within the system. You'll be seeing them here with their respective detail. So you can see this transaction, it happened to this account, to this of this negative, it was a kind of billing, and this is the narration, and the status, the type of this transaction was generated, because we did not create this transaction, it was generated by the system, and then it has been this on this particular term, and it was created by the person who was logged in, who is this particular user. So you have a complete detail to see about this transaction. So if you want school fees transactions only, or transactions that are dealing with school fees only, you click here on school fees payment. So school fees payment, you will be viewing, on school fees payment, you'll be viewing only the transactions that are about what? That are about school fees. Now,